All right, guys, welcome to the live stream. How are you guys this morning? So glad to have you guys here with me. We're not going to waste any time. It's about 9:48. I'm a few minutes late, but going to make sure that we get you guys here on time, right? Okay. My goal is by 9:58 to see if we can get all of our lesson done and be into the word of the day, but it never works out that way. So anyway, today, guys, what I'm going to be studying or what I'm going to be messing around with is going to be how that caricature drawing hacks or things I wish I would have known when I first started drawing caricature. Uh, so one of the first things that I wish I would have known, I'm going to be just straight up honest with you, right? If we let's just take any picture. Let's just look at this guy right here for a second. And then as I'm looking at him, I'm like, okay. When I first started drawing caricature, I was tempted to always draw exactly, you know, the shapes of the eyes. Okay, for instance, I can do this here, in which I can still see them pretty good. You get what I'm saying? You can still do it that way. However, this is something that takes time to be able to do. Okay, so as a beginner, if I would have had a teacher to teach me this, what I would have done was I would have I would have started with a more basic idea. Okay. So my first caricatures, or even now, I find myself using this a lot, especially when I have long lines of people and I'm trying to draw for speed. So what is going on here? And in fact, what I'm going to do here, if you'll give me just a moment here, I'm going to make this just a little bit unlock it. Hold on, not that. This one. I'm going to make it just a bit bigger for you. Okay. I think that works right there. And we'll make this one a little bit bigger for you too. Just so you can see. Okay. That should be excuse me, that should be better for you guys. Hopefully that's a little bit better of an angle for you to see at. All right, so this is the way where you draw specific. You're drawing specific eyes. But the problem with the eyes was, which I didn't know, was that most people, this is just a condition of the eye. In other words, the eye doesn't normally stay in a specific position because of the fact that we have this thing called emotions. Okay? And when we experience a different emotion, right, well, what happens? Right? All that kind of stuff happens. And that is what a caricature is. A caricature is, right? A caricature is not this. Right, you just sitting there staring at the camera. Is you're saying something about the person. So what I do now is instead of doing this, I use simple circles or shapes that make me feel. So let's just say I want to draw a circle. Okay, this is how it works in theory. Okay, when you have circles, circles make things look more dynamic in the first place, right? Now, once we have the circle, we see the guys looking over here, right? So what we do is we capture the angle that he's looking at, okay, which you can see that angle is going that way, and then we put the eyes inside of that, okay? This gives us a simple way to illustrate his eyes without worrying about all these freaking details that we don't need. You know what I'm saying? So then from there, we come back and we do this. Okay. And then okay. And then we put our glasses here. Okay, so if you can look here at the, if you look here at the feeling, the overall feeling of the drawing, okay, you'll have to see, you'll have to admit that this drawing, even though primitive, looks more like a cartoon than that drawing. You see, this is different. This is more like, I'll tell you what, think of Family Guy. Family Guy did this the best. The writers of Family Guy thought about this. Right, they drawing all these characters in different scenes and different emotions. You don't have time to draw all these specific ideas. So what you want to do is you want to go. What I like to do is go right to the point and just draw the emotion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to practice this. It is what, 9:55. So I'd say we're going to practice this till about 9:55, 10 o'clock, 10:05. Let's just say 10:10, and then we'll stop. Then we'll go to our next idea. Okay. So let's close this one out and let's go to another picture. Okay. Let's look at this one. Okay, now this guy seems to be a little bit big. I'm just pulling people up off the internet at random. I could save this guy actually, so let's just let me save him. And then what I'll do is I'll just bring up the picture here. Okay. And then we'll bring it over here and just make it larger. Okay. So this is the face that we're looking at. Again, when I first started drawing caricature, I want to draw specific ideas. Okay, specific. Very specific. Again, this is a skill that takes time to build if you want to go that way. Okay. You see? However, over here, we want to animate it. Okay? So, with the animation, what we want to do is we want to think of something else. So, maybe what I might do here is I might do the circles. You can make them asymmetrical. I think that's the right word, where one's bigger than the other one. Is that what that word? Asymmetrical? Did I say the right word? I think it was. Well, you can make one bigger than the other one. I think that's what it means. Okay. And then what happens is look at this eye. It's closed. And look at this eye. It's more open. You see? So what happens is your eyes, you tend to have a much easier time drawing your eye shape. Then you come back. And then you come over here. Okay? Because what I wanted was to be able to get the emotion of my character, not just these specific eye shapes that lead to portrait drawing. Okay? Versus cartoon drawing. What time have we got? 9:58. Okay? Just like that. Okay, hey Zany, how are you today? Thank you for coming out today. Thank you for coming out. All right, so let's go ahead and go to our next model. And then after this, I'll give you guys a few announcements, and then we'll go into the next part of our drawing series. If you guys are liking this, don't forget to, it's 9:58, yeah, 10:50, yeah. So, no, I'm saying I'm going to go over this till about 10:10, and then I'm going to go to the next concept. Because so what I'm doing is showing you some concepts that I wish I would have learned before I started drawing caricature. You know what I mean? Things that just made my life very hard. I was complicating a lot of things, so I wanted to uncomplicate this for you. You know what I'm saying? Also, guys, don't forget tips are appreciated if you feel like you're benefiting from the stream today. Appreciate you. Okay, now let's go to our next picture here. Let's see if we can find a good one here. what if we find, let's look at this guy here. Okay, we'll save him. And then we'll look at this guy here and we'll save him. No, not that guy. Let's find another guy. Let's get in. We need an interesting guy. We need interesting guys. Okay, yeah, this guy. No, not that guy. I can't get that guy. God dog it. All right, hold on. Oh, here we go. This is the one. Yep, that's a good picture right there because she has very different looking eyes. So you might think that this might not work if you do those eyes. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go here first. So if you see her eyes, we're going to go over here. And then we're going to begin to draw them. Again, this is your specific drawing. So you'll sit here and you'll do something like this, right? And you try to get it all perfect. And then you'll be like, okay, let me do this. And this caricature really is about how well you copy shapes, really. But I'm showing you how to get to what you need to do to get to the easier, to make this a little bit easier for you. Okay? This is the top of the eye here. Okay? And those eyes look great. I ain't gonna lie. That's because, like I said, this is something that's obtainable, but you have to watch how you use it. Okay? All right, so this is one. But if you want, and when you're just beginning, you might read that shape and feel like, man, that's too difficult for me to draw. So what you'll do over here is you'll go with the circle method. And again, you can make your circles as wide apart as you want, close apart as you want. And then what you do is you can put the eye, basically, with this eye, what I would do is, because our eyes are sitting so low, what I would do here is, man, you know what? Let me see, I could do it like this. Watch. And I can cut off the bottom of the circle. This is what I'm seeing. Okay. And what I want to do is leave a lot of dead space up top so that when I put the eye in, it looks like that. And then you have your eyebrows here. Okay. Does that make sense? Is this helping anybody today? Is anybody? Hey, Zani. Oh, Zani. Okay, Zani. Sorry about that, Zani. My bad. I got it. Zani. Gotcha. Okay, hold on. Let me move this thing over here so I can see better. Okay. Zani. Okay, that's a pretty name, actually. Yeah. Okay. All right. And then all we do is we add our little eyelashes here. Okay. All right. And then we'll color these in. All right. Okay. Now, let's go to our next model. If we don't have any questions about that one. And we'll do this one. Okay. Now this guy's more at an angled view, but no problem, because when you get to understand, this is really not that hard for you to do. It's just thinking about how things work in time and in space and in shapes. So let's just say we're drawing this guy. Okay, we can go right to it now. So instead of me trying to draw all of this, again, we're going to do like this. And then we're going to be like, oh, we're going to try to get everything nice and perfect, right? Right, just nice and perfect, right? And then we'll just do like this right here, right? And then we'll go here and here. And if you notice, again, there's a lot of lines. It's a lot of details doing it this way, okay? Here goes this little thing for his glasses, right? And then you can see this right here, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Okay. Okay, you get it? Just like that. Okay, and this will be his eyebrows. Okay, so you can do it like this, right? Or You can use what you call the speed method, or what I call the Family Guy method, right? Okay, and then you just use circles instead of drawing specific shapes, right? So what I might do here, check this out. I might draw this two C shapes going this way because I'm just insinuating a circle. The reason that I drew two C shapes, I'm going to tell you why, is because, and I really should have drew them closer together, to be honest with you. I drew them too far apart, but still the idea is this. So what I want to do is when I want the eye to be looking in a certain position, right? So what I want to do here is I'm looking at how much, look at the fold over the top of his eye. So I might just do like this now on the top. Okay, that's basically what I'm doing here. And then I'll put my eye here and here and here and here. It's easier for me to create details based off of this too, because now the eye, I'm not competing with the whole circle. I'm just using it as a concept in this one. Okay, hey Ron, how are you? All right, what's going on? I'm just practicing some things I wish I would have knew before I started. Now, drawing caricature years ago. Okay, now you'll see here that this looks a lot more cartoon, right? Right, than this one. You understand? See how that looks like a cartoon? That looks like a real person. You get what I'm saying? We could easily start adding shadows and stuff, and I can turn this into a real situation. You know, we start doing this and start adding shadows, right? And we can really just start adding all these details, which is what happens sometimes when you draw like this. You start adding too many details to the picture, right? And this is how you see how my pen is moving with all this sketchy this sketchy stuff going on, right? So you see how this is how you draw things like portraits. This is more of a portrait approach. You get what I'm saying? This is more of a cartoon approach. Okay. Hey, all right. So real quick guys, what time we got here? It is 10:06, so we got about 4 more minutes. So I got enough time for maybe one more model here. And you know what? I think I'll pick her because she has a very interesting eye shape. She's big enough for me not to have to save the picture. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this aside over here, and we'll just keep what we've been doing over here. Okay, so everybody will know what we're doing. All right, we got about 3 minutes left. So this is, again, if we want to draw a portrait, we're going to start doing this stuff here, right? And it's going to be like this. If you look at the rhythm and the motion of my pen, how it's moving for this particular situation. Okay, this is again more of a portrait approach to me. I used to draw portraits before I started, so one of the biggest issues I had was trying to convert back over to doing things, you know, in a cartoon way. So that looks very boring to me. While it looks like the eye, you get what I'm saying? It doesn't. It's not animated enough for me. It just looks like more of a portrait-y type of idea. Okay. All right. So what that means is over here, then I'm just going to do the same thing here. We're going to label this portrait. Okay, and then we'll label this the cart. Now we're gonna go to the cartoon over here. Okay, so if this is a cartoon, now we're thinking, how can I get this on paper easy? Well, her eyes are spread far apart. She has more weight on the top of the eye. So this is what I can do. I can do a number. I can add a line over the top of my circle, right? And then extend it out, and then add the eyes in there. Okay? You know what I'm saying? And then I have my eyebrows. Okay, that's one way we could, but you see how off the top, the simpler version looks better. And it was much easier to obtain than this. You get what I mean? So you don't have to put so much real estate in drawing perfect eye shapes, okay? You could have did it like this. If you want his ways, you can go like this and just go straight down. because maybe she's like, like this. Because really what it's all about is the eyebrows. You get what I'm saying? It's the same concept. You know what I mean? If I want to do this, as long as I got the general spacing of her eye, I can bring the eye down here if I want and make her look sleepy. But if I get the spacing of the eyebrows correct, you see what I'm saying? It still looks like her no matter what situation I want to use. It's easier to go between the emotions that you want to pick like this. Okay? So that is how to draw. How one of the things, the first thing I would have wanted to know, or wish I would have known, was not to attempt. What's the word? Not to attempt anatomical features, but rather, I'd say rely on the shape that inspires all eye shapes. Big parentheses, the circle. Okay? So that is one. That's the number. That's like, whew, if I had to say that was one, that's the number one thing that I would have wanted to change around. Okay, let me. I feel like I'm short here. Let me. Yeah. Like, man, why do I feel like I'm way down there? Like, I was like, I feel like I'm looking at my. I'm like I'm about to touch my desk. All right, so now we're going to go to the second thing. But before we go into that, guys, I want to give you guys a bit of information for those of you that are here. First of all, if you'd like to take classes with me, I am a online caricature art teacher. So I teach you in one-on-one sessions. I can be your teacher. I can show you these things so that you don't make these mistakes in the drawings. Of course, there are other aspects that go along with being able to use these, and again, that's why you would have a teacher for. So if you want to take a class with me, I'd like to have you. You can take a class at rouserworld.com /classes. Just go to the little calendar on there, pick a little date, right, like that, and then we're going to set you up a date. You'll get a code, and on that day, I'll show up, and you get your pen and paper ready and get all your questions ready because I got answers for you. Okay? So hopefully you guys will take a class with us. Now the next thing is join our Patreon family. Now me and my wife have been doing, how can I put it? We've been doing content creation for about 15 years together now. We created Rouser World. First, primarily I'm not going to lie, it was as an income source, but eventually, somewhere down the road, the Lord touched my heart and it became more of a ministry situation. So I started stopped focusing on the money aspect of it so much and focusing more on the people. And so that's our focus. This is what we do. We made a Patreon page, obviously, because it does cost money to do what we do, and it costs time, and time is money, right? And I know you've heard that before. So we created Patreon as basically a fan support page. So if you're learning from me and receiving from me, and you wish in your heart to support me, then so that the lessons can continue. That is what our Patreon page is for. Okay, so if that's you today and you want to join our Patreon family, don't forget to go over there and check it out. We do have a new tier that I just started called Mini Caricature Courses. Okay, which that's the one I'm highly leaning on. As far as if you're just wanting a structure based, like just straight up tunnel vision about caricature, is you're not going to get a lot of videos outside of that, but I make up a new course every month, and then you'll have access to that new course every month without having to pay for it, as long as you're a member of that tier. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so go ahead and check out our Patreon page. Also, guys, tips are appreciated if you feel like you benefited from the stream. And finally, last but not least, I'm sorry about all the announcements, but I got to do these, okay? This is our little fundraiser that we're doing. So we're replacing our tent. We lost our tent in a weather situation here last weekend or the weekend before last, I was doing an event, and so we're looking to get a new tent with the Rouser World thing on the outside and some little different bells and whistles, and we really feel like it's going to, help us to be more productive as far as our presence there when we go to the trade show. So what we're doing here is we're doing a fundraiser for it. Our goal for this tent is $950. That's what it's going to cost. Right now, you can see we're maybe at around 10% of our goal. We hadn't had a lot of givers yet, but if you guys want to give, I certainly appreciate it. Thank you so much for helping us or sewing in to help us buy this new tent. So thanks, guys. Let's go ahead and get back to our lessons, okay? So I'm going to put all my little announcements away. We'll do those announcements later again if you did not get all the information that you needed because you're excited about giving, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get over here and start doing this other. Let's see here. Okay, so we have our next thing. Now, what is the second thing that I would say that I learned? Well, I'm going to tell you what that is. Okay, let's go ahead and put this away. Okay, since we're not on that. Now, right now, it is about 10:15, guys. So I'd say we're going to give this about 10:15. I say we'll do it about 30. As I take 15 plus that's 10:30. Let's just say 10:40, 10:45. We'll stop around there. Okay. All right. 10:15. No, that's too long. Let's say 10:30. Got 15 minutes. Okay. Say what you got to say and get off of it. Right. Okay. What I using. This is the next thing. Number 2. Using. How can I say this? Using big shapes first, then working toward specific shapes. Okay? What that means is this, okay? I'm going to pick a picture out for you. We already got one up here, okay? So let's just say we're drawing her hair. A lot of the times, if we're drawing her hair, we'll think about these specific ideas first instead of saying, okay, back in the day, this is how I would draw it, okay? I would do like this, and I'll start sketching. All right, I'm trying to find this here, and then I'm like, let me see. And I'm like trying to find something here, and then you get what I'm saying? And I start doing this mess. Okay? Now I'm going to show now like I said, I can get something that looks like it. That's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about, right, is a level of stress that you put on yourself when you think like this. Okay? And you're doing a caricature. If you're doing a portrait, even then, there are simpler ways. A lot of the times we do something wrong our whole life. Our entire life, we do something wrong, and we never seek to get that thing corrected, right? So let's just say this is the top of her head, right? But if I'm drawing a caricature, what I'm thinking is this. I like to think in very specific shapes. So what I might do is go to the top of the head, and instead of drawing all those, what I want to do is get a basic geometrical shape. So I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 braids. So I'm going to start with like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know, 6, 7. And then I'll do like this, like that, right? And then I'll think like this. I'll go like, okay. Then I'll come back and go. And then I'll go across her hairline. I'm not scared. And then I'll just make her hairline inside. Okay, and then I draw the ear shapes. And then I draw this. And then I draw. Okay, now look at the 2 drawings. Okay, I'm sorry I had that off the page a little bit. But if you look at these 2 drawings, okay, while both of them technically, let's go ahead and I'll tell you what, let's just go ahead and do this here. Watch. So I'm going to do this. Eyebrow. I'm going to do eyes just like we did before. 1, and 2, her eyes are really spaced apart. And then I'm just going to do them simple. I'm just going to go like, I'm going to leave a lot of the space on the bottom. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and then I'm just going to fill the eye in 1, 2, right? And look at my shapes. Just one line to express shapes. Big shapes is what you need. You see these? You see how I'm using big? I'm using shapes that almost require me never to pick my pen up off the paper. Get what I'm saying? So this is more animated and more of a cartoon version of what we're seeing, and it's easier for me to then add details at the end. That's just what I did, my observation. So if you look at where the braids are here. That means that the separations between the braids are in these points here. So while you sitting here doing all this and trying to get it all perfected, right? I built something out of shapes that looks like it because I'm building a prototype, right? I'm building, like, you know what I'm saying? A prototype. And then we just add the eyelashes. What time we got? Okay, we got 10 minutes left. Okay. You see? And people crack up laughing. And the crowd starts laughing. Right? So you see what I'm talking about? This is again, this is all good. We can sketch to our heart's content. You know what I'm saying? But when you start sketching, again, it becomes a little bit more stressful on your body, on you. You get what I'm saying? This one is cool. That one is cool. Both of them are cool. This one's faster. This is what you're drawing. When you do a caricature, you're doing this, right? You're doing some form of this. You can use whatever shapes you want. Like, let me show you something. Watch this. Okay. No, stay on task. Stay on task. Big shapes. All right, let's go to our next face. Stay on task. Ooh. I don't mean to do that. Hold up. Let's see here. Let's go back over here and put Pinterest. I didn't mean to close that. Okay, let's try this one here. No, I ain't gonna be able to get her face. Okay, so we got this face here. Let's save that image, and then let's make it bigger here. Okay. All right, so we got that face right there. Okay. So again, we don't want any sketching. Okay, so we're gonna move this over here. We're gonna keep on that. We don't want any sketching. Okay, we want straight drawing. So we're thinking open shape. Look at the, so what I'm doing here, I'm not looking at the head trying to put these, because your shapes are not going to fit together like you're drawing a picture. You get what I'm saying? If you're drawing a portrait, you're drawing a portrait. So your shapes, because you're using different shapes, are going to come across as they're not going to fit together. The Legos ain't going to fit the same. So if you study in the picture and I'm trying to draw this hat, I'm going to get it wrong because I can't use that. I can use something that looks like it. So what I might do is think, okay, look at the brim. Then I might look at the brim, and then I might look at the basic way the hat is sitting. Okay, this is what I want. That's what I want. I don't want all the complicated concepts. I just want one thing. Okay, now watch. Well, I can work from here and go anywhere I want to. If I get lost, I want to be able to. If I get lost on the face, this is what I'll do. I'll start drawing islands. Island 1. Watch this. Island. Watch. Islands. Right? Now, can I see where I'm at? Oh, yeah. Look at this island. Look. See what I'm saying? Then, one line. You see? One line. One line. Where's the hair? When we come down, that means the hair is going straight down. A lot of the times you'll second guess your shape. So let me put that down. Second guessing shapes. I guess I got to put that in there. And then over study of person. Okay, I'm just going to do those next two, okay? All right, I just had those ideas while I was going. So here, right, we got this, and then we come down, right, we put our little neck here, right? Okay, and then whatever, then we'll put our hair goes straight down. And our hair goes straight down. Now, what happens, let me tell you, because in your mind, I'm going to tell you what happens when you usually bring the hair down like this. Okay, in the mind, you want to make the hair fuller and you want to make it out here, right? Because you're thinking of a portrait. So you're saying there's not enough hair there. No, there's a substantial amount of hair there. You see what I'm saying? It's a substantial amount. Two. You know what I'm saying? It's a substantial amount of hair there. Okay, because when you think about it, you want it to come out past. You want the shoulders to be out here, and you want the hair to come here. If you want to extend out a little bit beyond that, maybe here, but you don't want to fill something out all the way out to the end of the drawing. You get what I mean? All right. So again, big shapes. Now we go here and here. We see our subject is looking that way. I can use anything I want. Watch. I can just draw this if I want. Okay, because her eyes are looking that way, right? So, okay, what's that mean? Then I could just do, all I'm doing is this. I didn't use it. I used something similar to the circle idea. You know what I'm saying? What is the nose? Okay, I'll just draw a flower, a little small flower. Open shape, and then connect it. You get what I'm saying? You have to think in terms of what the shape is based upon. Okay, when we draw the lips, right? What is the lips overall? Just really think about it. I don't know if you guys have ever seen let me see what they call it. These are called in the country. We used to have these things here, and they had little things on the end of them, and they were called string beans. Okay, and we would eat these string beans, right? Right? You open them up, and they got little peas in them. Right? Like string beans. You see? I think the next one's going to be this. Okay, and I'm almost done, guys. I got 27, I got 10, I got 3 minutes. Okay, look. So watch this, watch. See? String beans. Right? Get what I'm saying? Simple, right? Whoa, right? Yeah, I get it, right? Okay. And then you just add your eyelashes. So when I see a picture doing this, I'm thinking, what are the eyes doing? She's looking that way, okay? I want a shape that looks that way. So I could go down here. I could do this if I want. Watch, I could use the circle if I want. I could do this, and I can use a triangle if I want. You get what I'm saying? Watch. Because it's not that. It's the context at which they fit into the face. See? It's the context at which they fit in the face. This is going to give me a more of a rounded look, which I like that right there. You see right here, when I did this one, then all I did was I drew the letter P backwards. I drew the top of the P, and then I connected it with a round or the number or a backwards number 6, whatever you want to think about it as. And then I just added the eyelashes. You get what I'm saying? So it looks like she's looking that way. You get what I'm saying? But she has more of the roundness of the eyeball in there. This one allowed me to get a little bit of the roundness in there too. You see? Okay. So, and then we'll just add this. All right. So that is the second thing. This is use big shapes first when working toward specific first, then work toward using big shapes first, then working toward, specific shapes. Right. Okay. And then I had another note there, and it says You want to make sure everything is a big shape. You're doing big curly hair, and this is the last one. I'm gonna do one more because I got 2 minutes left. So let me. I got 1 minute, but I feel like this is important. So a lot of the times y'all don't, you might not think of this, but let's just say we're drawing her. Okay, okay. She has a lot of stuff going on the outside of her head. So what I want to do is I want to think when I'm drawing this, I want to think of the big shapes first. So I want to think of, let's say I'll start with the brim to give me an anchor point, and then from here, I'm thinking about this hat, right? And I'm thinking about what I want this to feel like once her hair begins to stretch down from that hat. You get what I'm saying? I'm thinking of these big shapes that I want. That's going to communicate the language of the face. You understand? You see this is easier. This is going to be easier than attempting again to draw from anatomical standpoint. Okay, you don't do that with this type of situation. Hold on, guys. I need some. Hold on. All right, there we go. So now we'll just do the eyes. So what kind of eyes? This one right here. Tell you what I'll do. I'm gonna use some. I'm gonna use some squares. I'm just gonna show you. I can just do whatever I want because it's relationships. It's not the shape. It's relationships and it's what the shape makes you feel like. I don't know if you ever heard this before, but do we have any musicians here? Anybody that plays music? Right? Okay. Well, if we do have any musicians here, you'll see there's certain musicians, right, that can play, and when they play, they hear notes. The notes sound like color. They see colors when they hear the note, or they see something. They get a feeling that transcends the science of playing the keyboard. Because when you think too scientifically, you ain't gonna be able to do it. I don't care how. The more analytical your brain is, in other words, the faster your brain processes stuff, right? You may have a problem with this. What did I just say about myself? Okay, all right. So, yeah, the faster you process stuff, sometimes you overanalyze things, and if you overanalyze, then you just can't get it right. You're not gonna get it right. Okay. So, anyway, that is the second thing that I wish I would have knew. I wish somebody would have taught me when I was a young guy. You know what I'm saying? Things I wish I would have been taught. Okay. All right. Now, let me see here. We're going to go to our next session here, but before I go there, I'm going to do my announcements again for you guys, just really quick. But I'm not going to go through them I'll go through them pretty quickly since you guys already seen these. But we'll go to, first of all, if you guys want to take a class with me, you can take a class at rouserworld.com/classes. I'd like to get to know you, talk with you, teach you about caricature. And the best thing about it is I'm going to use what you already know how to do to teach you how to do it. So when you get there, you'll find out what that means. Okay? So hopefully you guys can take a class with me here in the near future. Again, rouserworld.com/classes. Okay? Now, we also have our Patreon page. Welcome to the family, fam. Go over here and join our family. This is our family that supports Rouser World. So we don't make a great deal of money or views and all that because we're giving you free stuff, free lessons. So on YouTube, you get free videos. You got free videos. So really, you know what I mean? But there's time and effort and all that goes into that stuff. So what we do is we decided to go a different way. We decided to allow you to how can I say, sow into it? So leave an opportunity for you to be able to sow into. So we figured let's see what would happen if we didn't try to make money or support ourselves through YouTube, but we did it basically a fan-based thing. Okay, so we're a fan-based art ministry, and we basically provide lessons at a lower cost than you would go to any school for and have to get those same lessons. So again, check out our Patreon page. It's packed with different videos about drawing, so you'll get some more drawing tips as a result of being here. And also, I just started a new tier. That tier is called the mini caricature mini courses. It's called Caricature mini courses, new tier. That tier is awesome. You know why? Because every month I add a new lesson to that tier. And as long as you're a member of that tier, you don't have to pay for the lesson. You just get that new lesson, but everybody else got to pay for it. You see? So that's going to be an awesome thing. So go over there and check out our Patreon page. Also, guys, last but not least, we do have a fundraiser goal that we're doing. This is to help us replace our new tent. We lost our tent in a weather situation about 2 weeks ago, snapped it while I was out there. So we, now we want to get something that's a little bit more sturdier with the Rouser World logo and all that stuff. So we're looking at the cost of it being about $950. We are for our outdoor events. Again, this goes to helping support and make sure that we can continue to create content for you. And so we're at about 10% of our goal right now. We hadn't had a big dent in it, but we're trying to get there. So if you guys, want to sew into that, I really would appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys, for being generous. So let's go ahead and go back into what we're doing, okay, guys? And finally, tips are appreciated. Thanks a lot, guys. All right, so let's go into my last thing here. Okay, so now hold on, let me see. Let me get my music back. What happened to my music? Hold on, guys. Okay, there we go. All right, so this is it's actually not the last one, but let me see. The last one was, so now it is about 10:36, 10:30. Let's just say 10:36. So we'll say 10:30, might put 20, 10:50. Let's say 10:10. Okay. All right. Okay, so this is going to be the one of my. I saved this one here because it's so important that that it's really kind of mind blowing, but yet also simple, if you will, in concept. It's how did this miss me? How was I unable to see this when I was first drawing? But I did it. I didn't see it. And now I get it because I'm going to write the word down here. I got to write it down. I like to write down things because I forget. Okay. Associations. No, I don't mean join an association, right? Even though you should join associations, I hear they're good for you, depending on what kind of association it is. But associations, what that means is I know how to draw one thing, but that means then I know how to draw two things. You get what I'm saying? What does the shape, what is it that you know how to draw? And then we'll use what you know how to draw, or not just what you know how to draw, but what you've seen, right? What have you seen that looks like that's really simple, that could explain that? Like one day I was sitting up and I thought, oh man, and I was like, whoa, I know what a little tree life looks like. Just even if I just draw like a 2-year-old, I know what this is. This is a little leaf, right? Right? But if I can draw that, what else can I turn this thing into? Oh, let me see. right? Whoa, right? We can do that. What else can we do with this? What if I cut it in pieces and use the top half of the piece? Whoa, that's another eye shape. Whoa, see? Whoa, what if I use the bottom part? Whoa, 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 right? You get what I'm saying? Now, I don't know if y'all remember the circle idea from earlier, but really, this is just the same idea. If you think about it, you can, the same idea is grouped together, concept. So let's split it in half. Look. And right? Right? You see? It's the same concept, right? So it's taking a concept, right? Let me put, it's taking excuse me, it's my handwriting today, taking a concept and then making your own concept that you can relate to better. Okay? This works no matter what the heck you're doing in life. Okay? It works no, hold on a second, something's going on here. Did it stop? Oh. Okay. Oh, that boom, 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 boom. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Okay. So taking a concept and making your own concept that you can relate to in a better way. How about that? That's all associations are. Had I known about that, right? Just think about that. Ooh, man, this is powerful. If just think about the implications of this, this has taught us so many things. I'm a big fan of using things that teach me things I don't know, right? Using what I know to teach me what I don't know, right? So, like for instance, let me tell you something. Like I have a son. I had my son, and when I was 40, I didn't have any boys until I was 48. So at 48, I had a son. I was 50 years old. I had a son. So I got two sons. No, really, this actually happened to me. Okay, but that's not the point. The point is this: is that when I see other little boys now with their dad, I feel completely different about that because I have then now associated what I feel for my son, for what he feels for his son, and it makes me treat his son with the utmost respect. Yes, sir. A little man, I'll call him. He's little sir, little man. Yes, man. What's going on, man? Boom. You know what I'm saying? Because I find myself acting. You know what I'm saying? I see things that kid like I learned how to be a better disciplinarian to my children. Like I don't like for instance when I went through things I felt like I understand now that how can I put it like this? I use different things that I've learned, right, to be more visual and more hands-on with them. I make them use associations. You know what? When my son might take something from me. He might take my thing, give it to me, or he might not share it with his brother. Get it? And then so what I'll do is I'll take him back to a time where somebody didn't share something with him and how he felt, and when he came crying to me about it. Or I'll make him feel the same situation right in that moment. You understand what I'm saying? But we need how we teach is through our associations, and associations are literally just testimonies, right? Associations are testimonies of where we have been, right? When you talk to a person and I'm almost done with this, and because this doesn't require a lot of drawing, it's mentality. When you talk to a person that has strong associative skills, you're going to like talking to them a lot because they're going to always be referencing something. And it's going to keep the conversation interesting. You're going to be like, "What? How the hell did we wind up here?" Right? Well, I don't know. We just started talking. You get what I'm saying? Those are the great conversations. So if you want to be better at whatever it is, if you want to be a better musician, you want to be a better basketball player, you want to be a better skydiver, I don't care what it is you do. All you have to do is associate it with what you already understand, and then you will begin. You will grow you will grow 10 times faster than the guy that's studying anatomy. I know guys that can start studying anatomy. They still, so what? I still, it don't matter. I didn't. You study anatomy. I can still reproduce that picture in a shorter time than you because I'm using, not because I'm more talented, it's because of what I'm associating this with. You get what I'm saying? Time is truly money. Run out of time, don't matter how much money you got, right? Okay, so let's do some more associations. Okay, so we're almost done here. What other kind of, you know what? And I think in order for us to associate something, you know what we need? We need some association material. What do you guys think? What do you think? Okay, let's do this here. Let's look for let's do random. Okay, random shapes to draw. Random shapes for drawing. What is it going to come up with? Okay, we got some random shapes. Okay, so let's see here. We'll just use some basic ones then. Okay, because I don't want to get too complicated on you guys. So let's use some basic ones. Okay. All right, here we go. We got some shapes over here. Okay. So you guys can see my little cursor right there, I think, right? So we're gonna go with the let's just do this right here. Okay. Let's do some associations. All right, and I would like for you to share your associations with me. If you have any interesting associations, please share them with me at our in our DM. DM me right now. We'll put them up here and see what you associated with. Okay, so what's my first association going to be for this shape? Okay, I can draw I can draw it upside down and put an afro on it. So it could definitely be somebody's head for sure. Okay, you see that head shape? Definitely, definitely a good head shape. Okay, then so we got a head shape. All right, what else can we do? Okay, let me see here. I'm thinking of oh, you know what? I'm thinking of could be a could be a cool mouth shape, maybe. Maybe a mouth, right? I wonder if that mouth can be. Let me see. How many mouths can I draw? Can I turn it upside down? What would happen if I turned it upside down and made it shorter? And then I said like this. So that gives me a different kind of smile. So it's another smile. Okay. Let me see. What else can I do with this? There's let me see. Oh, you know what? I can make it taller. Right. And you know what? Maybe I can make I don't know. If I maybe if I put a hole on top of it, I had some smoke. I could make a guy that's it's pretty hot headed. He's pissed off at the world. He's blown his stack. You know, that's this is me right here. This is me. My wife sometimes she makes me blow my stack in here. Boom, right? All right, there we go. All right, so I did 4 things. What'd you guys come up with? I just wanted to know. I just want to know. All right, so that's our association number 1. So that is a trap. What is that? A trapezium? Now, I use basic shapes because everybody has probably seen these shapes before. So I'm using something that you already know to draw something that you want to learn, right? You know this. Now take it to do that, right? Okay. Let's go to our next shape that we want to do. So let's see. What about this shape here? What about this diamond? Don't you know? Diamonds are a girl's best friend, right? All right, I think. All right, let me see. What can I do with that? Oh, you know what? You know what I look at? This is one of I can see braces. Like, you ever seen somebody with some huge teeth, right? But they got like these big gums like here. And maybe they got like braces. So maybe we can draw little crosses on the braces. That's little shapes, right? Little crosses. Right? So we just put little, and then we put mini crosses down here. Little mini crosses. Right? So that could be that. This could be, so this is the brace's mouth. Okay. I just came up with that one. I don't know. I've seen people with braids. This is what I felt when I drew it. Sometimes you got to turn it a different way in your mind too. So let me see. What else does this look like to me? It definitely could be a head shape. Because you can see the, right? Yep. A nice little head shape. Right? We can put her brace's mouth. We'll just put some little braces in there. Right? so she has braces mouth, and she has a rectangle head, right? Yeah, I thought that was cool. Okay. Okay. Now what else do we have here? Let me see. So that's 1, 2. Let's see. What else can I make out of that? I don't know. Can I make some? Oh. You know what? You know what? I could make a. Hold on. Let me see. If I could stretch it, and I can make somebody with like. I could make like somebody look like the Dragon Slayer, right? They got some little. They got or a Hobbit. I don't know, right? Maybe maybe your dad's a hobbit now, right? With Brace's mouth. Okay, he got Brace's mouth. So we got a hobbit with a brace mouth. I don't know. That kind of looks like me a little bit, doesn't it? Okay. All right. So those are 3 things. 1, 2, and 3. We can do that. And so this is going to be my last one, last association. After this, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get into my word of the day. Okay. All right. Let's look at our last association here. Okay. We're going to go with a heart, right? Okay. All right. So we got that heart. What else can that heart be? All right. Well, a heart definitely. You got people with heart-shaped faces, right? Maybe she got some. Maybe she has some big big earrings, right? And then maybe she has an ice cream cone on top of her head and a little neck, right? And she has braces mouth. We're just going over the same concept. Uh, uh, uh. Yeah, right. So we got her in there, right? So we got a flower, we got a heart head, we got a, wait, you know what? I think, what else can we do with a heart? We can make a lips out of it, right? Kind of a heart lip situation, right? Something like that, right? So that's a good one. We can do hearts, right? Um, Let me see. Heart lips. What else do we have for the heart? We have, let me see. Wow. So now we can just take it and turn it into any shape we want. Right? You see what I'm saying? It's all about how you think about the heart, right? We just know it has 1, 2, 3 movable points, right? And so that's what we're looking for. We're looking for 1, and then we're traveling to 3, and then where's 2 at? 2 could be up here, and then it travels back to the 1. It's still a heart. In theory, this is a heart. I started here. I wound up here. I wound up here. I went over here. All of these things can make different situations. Hey, Austin, what's going on? All of these things make up different situations. So look at this one. This heart shape has now become the face of a character. You get what I'm saying? That weird things happen when you put things on paper, when you put lines and shapes. Your brain, if you start playing with them, your brain will start to see things. It's the same thing. Your mind, you ever heard that song, My Mind's Playing Tricks on Me? Never heard it either. Okay, but that song was your mind playing tricks on you. You put something on the canvas, and then your brain starts to create because it's trying to make sense out of what it's seeing. Your brain is always trying to make sense out of what it's seeing. So give it something to make it sense of. Does that make sense? Your brain is always seeking to make sense of the world, or just put it like that, around it. This is a weapon if you use it correctly. It's a weapon of mass destruction, or a weapon that can be used to help and create people. Get what I'm saying? Your mind is playing tricks on you. That means you've taken, like for instance, if you find yourself really stressed, and it's giving you an indication of what your brain is, how your brain is making sense of the world. All the things that you've put on your canvas, your brain is trying to make sense of it, but it cannot make sense. But it still, but it makes it reacts in an appropriate way. You get what I'm saying? In this case, it's to tear down. But in this situation, we're going to use it to build up. So we're going to give you a shape, and then we're going to let you say, well, what is it that we find in common with the basic shape? Well, it has 1, 2, 3 points in it. If that's true, then all I have to do is constantly be aware of where 1 is, where 2 is, and where 3 is. You understand? You get what I'm saying? So even if you're drawing a nose, right? If you think about it in theory, a nose, right, is basically a bow tie, or it's a triangle going sideways, right? Or it's a or it can be a waterfall type situation like this. Okay? So these are the noses. You asked me about this, Austin. No, we didn't get it yet, Austin. We're still I did I put the thing up there about it. I'm going to show you guys where we're at as far as that, but we haven't reached our goal yet, but thank you for asking about that, Austin. Okay, so here we have the three shapes of the nose. Okay, so we're going to go, this is a nose, right? Nose, so we can label them and make sure we, okay? So if I got the three noses, right? Okay, well, when I draw my character, I just put whatever random shape, okay? It doesn't matter. This is a circle. This is a circle because it has a high point and a low point. Where's my high point? Where's my low point? Where's my high point? Where's my low point? Low, high. Where's my high point? Where's my low point of the shape? Put things there like you're holding it. You get what I'm saying? And move it and do things with it, but keep track of one and two. Keep track of one, two. Keep track of one, two. But let's go back to the nose shape. Now, what I know about the nose, I can keep track. Let's say I wanted to give somebody the waterfall, right? I know about the waterfall. It has a one, it has two, and it has three corners to it. So this is what I'm going to do. Watch, I'm going to keep track of one, two, and three at all times. Two is always going to be south of three, of one, right? So I'm going to be a here, one, two, and then I'm going to find three. You see? I got one, I got two, I got three. All I did was translate this to that. Does that make sense, Austin? Did I help you out there? Okay. So this is Associations 101. Let's finish this one. This is the last part of the stream for today. I'm going to go ahead here and let me see. This one can be our, okay, so we'll just do like this. One, okay, this one has 1, 2, 3, 4 points, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 points. You see? Just like that. Okay. And then we'll have these last two. So we can have one that's based off of, it's one other one. It's based off of okay. And then we got the nose is based off of this shape here. It looks like the yin yang sign almost. Like, you ever seen that where it has like the something like that? Right. So what I'm seeing is that I'm thinking of this, but I can stop here, so I can put my eye shapes. But this is like somebody maybe that has a rounder shape. Okay. And then finally, my last one was going one way or the other. Oh, the pointy. This is a. Let's see what we can do. This one we can do it thin, so we can go 1, 2, 3. It's a thin nose. You know what I'm saying? It's a thin nose, right? Okay. So, guys, that is it. We've reached the end. Those are the things that I wish I would have knew when I was starting out in caricature. I wish I would have been more keen on my associations. Wait, let me make sure everything is in order here. So I got my associations. I just want to keep these in order here. Associations. Let me see. These are for nose associations. I just want to keep these because this might come in handy later on for a good class. Okay. So I come up with some of my teaching material right here on the live streams. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's something about having a personal teacher that's different. You know what I mean? No matter what, you can learn things online, and then it's somebody showing you how to do it, and it's two different ways of doing it. You know what I'm saying? So, like even me now, it's just one way. I think that you can arrive, but you can take a lot longer to get where you need to go. You know what I'm saying? Because kind of like how you can tell AI for human stuff, you can really look at an AI picture, or you can look at an AI video or AI whatever, and then versus a person, and something inside of you just doesn't feel like that's a human being. You get what I mean? And that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead, guys, and let me just put this here together here. And then we're going to go ahead and get into the word of the day. I'm gonna have to. I'll do Austin. I'll do that request for you in the next stream because I'm really kind of pressed for time today. I have a family over today, and I want to get you guys. I want to get the word of the day ready for you. So let me go here real quick. If you guys will give me a second, I will be right back. Give me a second. Okay, guys, I'm back. Hold on just 1 second. Give me a minute here, and we're going to do our word of the day here. Okay, so I'm gonna put some of this stuff away, and then I'll try to make some sense out of this here in a minute. But I'll just for right now put all my paperwork over here. We're gonna go ahead also, guys, and pause our music. So if I can go here, I can. Hold on. Sorry, hold up, guys. Boop. Let's pause that. And okay. And so we're gonna. Let me get my Bible out real quick. In case we need to look up some scriptures, right? And so let's go ahead and we're gonna get into it, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and give us a little. I got a little bit of. Hold on a second. Let's get us a little praise and worship music here. I like this song. It just seems very relaxing to give a word to, right? All right, guys. So what we're going to do today, right now, is we're going to go into our word of the day. So before we go into our word of the day, I just want to pray. Thank you, God, for just for today, for waking me up this morning. Thank you for my family. Thank you for my health. Thank you for provision. Just thank you for everything. I ask you to just make this a productive stream for everyone here, um, to open up their understanding, to know that you're the ultimate artist, and that you put art not just here for something for us to do and engage, but also something we can use to learn more about you. So we just pray that you open our hearts and minds to receive in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Today, our word of the day is going to be start with simple. Okay, today, if you stayed through if you were here during the drawing segment, you'll notice that I did a lot of drawings where or we talked about things and said, well, I wish I would have done things this way, or I wish I would have learned this before I started. That was the name of our stream. And then as I went through, I showed you some things that I wish I would have known about life, about drawing. In each one of those things, excuse me, I learned about some things in drawing. Okay, so I learned some things here. And those things taught me not just a drawing lesson, but they had a dual purpose of showing me, giving me a life lesson. Okay, so I learned a drawing, I could say a drawing lesson. Okay, taught me a life lesson. Okay, that's really where I'm going with this today. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Sometimes the biggest breakthroughs in art and in life don't come from learning more complicated stuff. They come from like understanding the simple things better. Does that make sense? They like you don't need to make you don't need to make something else. You need to just use what you have simpler. Like, oh, it's just so when I was drawing, when the first thing I did, you always like when drawing eyes. I'm going to give you an example. Beginners often try to draw like every eyelash, so they'll sit here and they'll do all this stuff here, and they're drawing all these eyelashes, right? And they're making all these confusing lines and wrinkles, and they want every detail. Uh, they want every detail too early. You get them? They don't want to wait for the process. They want it too early. So where they're not considering depth, they're not considering So they're just making lines, hoping that they'll find the right thing. They're just doing something, but it's nothing methodical. But you know, um, the the way it's supposed to work is when you draw eyes. It's really simple. The eyes are circles, and they're circles that are being used to portray an emotion, right? Big circles, small circles. You know what I'm saying? All I can draw anybody's eyes doing anything in a caricature just by using simple circles. But for some reason, some people are obsessed with the idea of drawing, you know, the perfect eye. So you'll see here in the stream, I told you these are specific eyes. These are specific portrait drawing. But when I convert it over to the round shape, right? When I converted it, right? When I converted it, they all translated better, okay? Because the circle is the God shape. It's the shape by which all eyes are predicated upon. So if I start from the God shape, anything that I want to build is possible. Does that make sense? The more you try to draw the specific shape, you're trying to draw the creation and trying to worship the creation instead of the creator. The creator is the circle. The creation is the eye that you drew on that paper. You get what I'm saying? Do you understand what I mean? So we need to be thinking about starting with the foundation of the shape. The God shape is the foundation everything else is built on. Like I said, spiritually, God works in the same way. We want to complicate answers, but God usually just starts with the simple truth of the matter. You can't do that. Don't do this is the circle. Now, I can't get caught. I know a better way to do it. You don't understand me. These are all the lines that you put around your eye when you're starting to draw this specific shape that you like to see. But that's the difference between drawing a cartoon, right, which is a cartoon, and drawing real life. You get what I'm saying? What's considered, how can I say, the unseeable, right, is always going to be the thing. Like cartoons, you have to be able to see less to be able to see. To enjoy cartoons, you must be able to see less and enjoy seeing less in order to enjoy cartoons. You get what I'm saying? The way they're drawn is simple. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay? The proverb says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Trust in the circle. When you draw that eye, the circle of the eye, that's the God shape. That's the shape that all eyes are predicated upon. Trust in the shape with all thine heart and lean not to thine own understanding. Don't listen to the other guys that tell you all this other stuff, right? This shape is all you need. Some part of this shape is all you need. Some angle of this shape is all you need. That's all you'll ever need to draw caricatures. You'll never need all the other stuff. Sometimes we overcomplicate life because we ignore basic foundation. Listen, faith, obedience. Listen, character. Listen, integrity. Listen, love. These are the basic foundations of life. The advanced version of life is still built on simple principles. The advancement, everything that's happening right now What I'm trying to tell you is this is science. That means it was created because God's word does not return void. When you break the law of his word, you will see the consequences associated with that. But these are the basic building shapes of building your life. You want to draw a good life? You want to draw a good life. You got to have faith. You must trust in the shape of faith. What does faith look like? Faith means believing in what you can't see. Now, I just showed you that you can't see a circle drawn literally around the eye when you look at it. You can't see it. It's hidden behind skin and flesh. But we expose it. We bring the truth out. And we put it right there for everybody to see that this person here has got bad intentions. This person here has good intentions. Because I want you to see my eyes. Look at my eyes. I ain't trying to hide nothing. Now, I'm looking at you different. You see? All represented by this eye shape. So just like cartoons translate easier because they stay close to the simple form, people who stay grounded in God's principles handle life better when pressure comes. You know why? Because just like when Jesus was in the boat and they had all of the wind and rain and all that, and he didn't panic because he already knew what the God shape was. What happens in the world is artwork. It is it's man's creations. And he's saying, don't be afraid of man's creations because no matter what, I am the foundation of all things. And everything must come back to me. Everybody got to come back to me, whether you like it or not. So don't get too comfortable here, bro, sister, because this is all temporary. We're here for a reason, and the only way we can discover the reason is by building on the shapes of God and the way that he says, the things that he says is important, our faith, our obedience, do what you are told, respect for authority. We need to go backwards to that. Character, who are you? How do you treat people? Integrity, do you keep your word? Who are you when what are you doing in secret? You think nobody don't know about what you're doing in secret. Start with the foundation. That's one of the things I wish I would have learned. The next thing I wish I would have learned was big shapes before small details. Big shapes before small details. Okay? So I got my little illustration here. Hold on a minute. You guys are just give me a second here. I told you to let me. Okay? Here we go. Here we go. Big shapes before small details. Okay, here was my thing. I said use big shapes first when working toward a specific shape. So if I'm working toward a person's head, what I'm thinking is, you see how I drew everything I drew a big, everything is individual shapes. Okay, it's more organized. This is a real life drawing. This is somebody sketching. These are sketchy lines of life. This is closer to, this is out there. This is getting more away from the God shapes. This is going more toward the God shapes. The God shapes are very simple and plain and very straightforward. Bam, some people, you can't handle the truth sometimes. Some people, they say that's a real thing. That's why your brain has a problem doing this and saying, you know what, I'm gonna accept this as truth and this as the lie. They can't do it in their head. They can't draw like this, and they can't see that life is really this freaking simple. They gotta do it this way. They need to see it that way. Something about this that's in fact, it's the sin nature of man. I got to go back and listen to this later. This is speaking to me right now. In caricature, if you draw every little bit of hair first, the drawing falls apart. When you block in the large shape first, everything else becomes easier to organize and see. In other words, if you draw a shape, we got two shapes. One guy sits here and does this, right? And he's like, right? And the other guy comes up and says, right? Done, right? You understand what I'm saying? This is the way we're supposed to do it. And then we put the other stuff on the end. And it gives the realism effect to the drawing. You get what I'm saying? But it doesn't look unorganized like this. So you have to think of it like that. So everything becomes easier to organize afterwards. The barber, when you go to a barber shop, the barber might shape your head first. He might shape it generally, and then he'll come back with that little, and the scissors, and he'll, right? And he cut off that. So think about that when you're drawing something, okay? Big shapes before details. Now, how does this translate over to life? Because remember, how did we get here? Okay? That a drawing lesson taught me a life lesson. This is things I wish I would have knew before when I started drawing. I wish I'd had somebody to teach me this. Okay? Start with the simple. We're taking the drawing lessons. We're showing you how drawing is not life. It's not just drawing. It is God's word manifested in your life. He's trying to talk to you right now. That's why you love to draw so much. You just ain't figured it out yet. You're connected to him. He just learned how to speak a language that you like. He's the master artist. He's speaking to you right now. That's why that's that thing inside of you. But sometimes the world can distort. So God can say draw, and then we can be like, okay, and then we start drawing the wrong thing. You get what I'm saying? But so because we're using a talent that he gave us, a calling. Hey, Harry, you an artist, right? But I take it and say, okay, thank you. I'm going to be an awesome artist. I'm going to go and become the richest person in the world and screw everybody else. You know? Yeah. So life works the same way. Many people focus on tiny details while neglecting the bigger picture. That's why they think they should be able to do whatever they want now. They don't look, well, our pictures are becoming narrower and narrower and more focused into what we want and what we desire. And that's a very small filament if you really think about all the filaments that exist. Worrying about appearances but ignoring character might be an example of that, right? You like this guy, and you rather, right, you rather compromise your character just because you like the way he look or something that he has, and you desperate to obtain that, whatever that thing is, whether it be money, whether it be whatever. And most of the time it's motivated by, not all marriages are, but I'm saying when there's a selfish motive involved with a man and a woman, usually it's a lot of money, it's some type of I want something from you thing going on. And it can be vice versa, right? So neglecting it, you might dress a certain way, right, just because you want to get chosen, but ignore the character that's within you. You got character, That's why you pulling your dress down when you go in public, because you really don't want nobody to see. Why don't you just wear a bigger dress? Right? Why don't you just wear looser pants or, for guys, right? Why don't you just cover up a little bit more, right? You don't got to pull it down and all that. Just put on oh my gosh, did I just say that? Put on a bigger shirt, man. That's funny. Chasing money but neglecting peace. Tiny details. Chasing money, tiny detail. Because peace is the biggest picture. Everything you're doing in your life is because you want peace, right? But you dealing with the little stuff on the outside because you chasing the money, thinking the money is going to fix everything. No, you got to Understand what you want. Clearly define your goal. And now go toward it. You understand? That's what a barber does. That's how everything works. You see how God's speaking to us through drawing? Everything is connected. The last thing I put here, seeking attention but lacking purpose. You want everybody to like you for no reason. You don't even know where you're going, but you want everybody to like you. You don't know where you're going, have no idea, no purpose, no plan, no nothing. You're miserable, but you still have this longing inside for people to like you. Holy smokes. God often works from the inside out, guys. In Matthew, it says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. That's the big shape. Once the main shape is correct, smaller details will begin to fall in place. When your priorities are shaped correctly, you're simply going to make better decisions. You're going to see relationships improve. When you're distracted, you lose power. The moment that you become distracted from the circle when you draw eyes, I'm showing you. The moment I become distracted from the circle because somebody else suggested a square or somebody else suggested a triangle, right? Even if I use these other shapes, okay, I must think of them in relation to the whole, okay? Because these shapes are merely pieces cut from the circle. But this big shape is the one that existed before it all, and that's God, okay? And finally, the third thing I wish I would have learned, guys, and then I'm finished. Your mind creates meaning from what you feed it. Your mind creates meaning from what you feed it. So our brain is always trying to make sense of our world through what I call association. As artists, we can look at a random shape and suddenly see a face. Like if I sat here and if I just did this as an artist, right? Eventually, right? Let's just stop right there. Eventually, we'll look at that and be like, man, what did we see? And then we'll start doing like this. You know what I see here? I don't know. I see I see somebody's a dog face in there. Like it's like a little like a little dog. He's got his little ears right there, right? You see him? And he's kind of poking out of this little cloud, right? It's like a cloud around him or something. So maybe, I don't know. That's his little ear right there, right? And then that's what I see, right? You get what I mean? That your brain automatically does that all the time. Even it doesn't matter if you're a person on this planet. That's what your brain does. If you're an individual and you have a brain, this is brain games. Your mind just automatically starts to create based off of what you give it. Now notice I had to give it something to work from first. And then it begins to see what it wants to see based off of this. Okay? That's just how it works. Just trust me. Okay? Now let's get into it. Now, why does this happen? Why? Well, because the mind is designed to connect patterns and create meaning. So this is what we do. Our mind needs to see patterns, and we need to figure out quickly and we need to make sense of what we're looking at right off the top. So that's our brain's primary function, is to help us navigate the world. Right? Without it, we're dead. Like I said, you're brain dead. They put you in the cemetery. So the minute you get what I'm saying. So, but spiritually, this can work for or against us. Right? If you constantly feed your brain, right, fear, negativity, you watch TV shows, you listen to music, everything, gossip, right? Bitterness, right? If you keep feeding your mind these pictures, right, your thoughts begin to shape something based off of it. Maybe it might even put a mantle. It might make a little mantle. You know how you have something on your room that inspire you every day? You have like on the back of your door and it says, go out and be a nice person today. Well, yours doesn't say that. Yours says, be negative, be afraid, go out and gossip, and backbite somebody. Yay! You know what I'm saying? Yours is, this is what your brain made out of that. Because that's what you fed your brain. Your thoughts begin to shape realities that may not even exist. Yeah, fear. Your imagination starts drawing conclusions from unhealthy information. Unhealthy information. We listen to too many people about too many different things. Instead of relying, again, let's go back to the God shape, the circle. Instead of going to God and putting all your trust in Him and the information that's in the Bible, right? For instance, let's look here. And then I'm gonna get out of here, guys. I'm almost done. This is good for me today. All right, listen here. Let me show you something. I got two sons. All right, this is what I teach them. My child, it says, don't go. Let me go here first of all. My child, if sinners entice you, turn your back on them. They may say, come and join us. Let's hide and kill someone. Just for fun, let's ambush the innocent. Let's swallow them alive like the grave. Let's swallow them whole like those who go down to the pit of death. Think of all of the great things we'll get. This is his friends talking to him now. Listen. And we'll fill our houses with stuff that we'll take. And come, my friend. Come on, Harry's son, and throw in your lot with us. And we'll all share the loot. We're going to get paid. We're going to come up. And then the word of God says, my child, Harry's son, right? He's telling my son, that's why I tell my son, don't go along with them. I'm speaking the word of God to him. Stay away from these people. Stay away from their paths. They rush to commit evil deeds. They hurry to commit murder. If a bird sees a trap being set, it knows to stay away from the trap, right? But these people set an ambush for themselves. They set the trap for themselves and walk right into their own trap. They are trying to get themselves killed. Listen, son, such is the fate of all, not some, all who are greedy for money, for it robs them of life. I will teach my son this. This is the circle of life for my son, this Bible. There is somebody watching you when you think you're not being watched. That thinking that and understanding that makes you improve in all kinds of areas. You have more integrity then. You stop hiding things. You understand somebody's watching. Now it's a different thing if you think and somebody that's watching, and not only that, but somebody that has the power to impose consequences upon you. It's powerful. My son believes God exists because he does. Because none of the stuff that I'm showing you today can be random. But let's finish out, and I'm done here. Be transformed by the renewing of the mind. That's in Romans 12:2. The same imagination that helps an artist create beauty can also create fear if it's fed the wrong materials. Yes. That's why we must guard what we listen to, what we meditate on, and what we repeatedly think about. The same imagination that helps an artist create beauty can also create fear. The same imagination. Whoa. But eventually the mind starts sketching pictures. Listen, from whatever reference material it receives. In order for me to draw a caricature of somebody, I got to go get a reference. Don't that make sense? I got to draw somebody. I need a reference. And everybody doesn't make good caricatures, contrary to popular belief, right? Some people I really have to struggle with because I can see the complexity in their life, in their face. Not because they're not good people, but the complexity of life, the uncertainty of what is next, the disbelief in the circle, the disbelief in God, the one who rules them all, the disbelief in Jesus, the disbelief just because their mind is attached to everything needs to be complex in order for me, in order for it to have value, it needs to be complex. In order for you to make money, I have to do something complex. If I have to do this, I have to do something complex. When life was just really meant to be one big cartoon. At some point, we began to get too far away from the God shape. And now look, we've become very specific eyes that can only see one way. That's the word of the day, man. Start simple, build the big shape first, feed your mind the right references. God often reveals truths through simple foundations. The strongest drawings, the strongest lives are usually built from mastering the basics first. Okay, guys? All right, so that's our word of the day today. I'm going to go ahead here and pause my music. You guys, again, don't forget if you want to take a class with me, you can take a class at rouserworld.com/classes. I'd love to have you guys take a class with me. Okay. Also, let me see, we have our Patreon page. So this is our fan support page. We are a fan-funded caricature artist ministry. We use art to connect us with students, people, so that we can share what God is doing in our lives and to encourage them. So if you'd like to sew into something like that, you can do that by going to our Patreon page. You'll get some videos about art, get some of my personal life. You might not want to know about that, but okay. So I'll I'll keep it I'll keep it rated G for you know me and my boys. I like to do stuff with them all the time. All right, so now then we also have tips. So I appreciate it if you guys feel you benefited from the stream, man. Thank you so much. Now and finally, guys, our tent fundraiser goal. If you guys will hold on a second here, I need to let me make this thing smaller here because it's too big. Okay, there we go. All right. So our tent fundraiser goal, we're trying to replace our tent, our tent. We got it destroyed in some weather incident here at a recent event, and so we're raising money to buy another one with our banner and stuff already on it and all that good stuff. And so that's about what it's going to cost us to be able to do that. I believe that we did the best shopping around. That's the best one that we could find. And again, it helps us with our events as far as when we go out and do events. And in turn, that also helps me to stay behind the drawing board more with you guys. I don't have to, constantly, be, you understand what I'm saying? Okay. So this is where we're at on our goal. We're at about 10%. So if you guys want to give to that, thank you so much. It's a Cash App, $Rouser World. And so, again, God bless and thank you so much if you want to give toward that. So, anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys have been a blast. Hope you had fun. I'll catch you guys in the next live stream, which will be on Saturday at 10:30 a.m. 9:30 a.m. Excuse me. All right, guys. Have a blessed evening. I'll see you next time.